What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, SynysterKobra, coming back with another weekly show. I'm here once again with my co host, WC Karate Kid.
Hey guys, what's up?
So, this week looks like we have sort of a short week. We have some end of the week stuff we have to take care of behind the scenes. So, I don't know how probably be a shorter show this time around.
Yeah, probably. I'm going out of town, so this is all my fault. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. So, let's just kick things off like usual. Channel updates. I have the usual thing going on. Halo 5 is starting to slow down because I've pretty much done everything I can with the recent DLC content. So, I'm pretty much, just scraping the bottom of the barrel with that stuff. Um, I'm not playing too many new things. Halo 5 still. Pokemon Go, obviously, I mentioned that last week. And I just plugged in my N64 earlier today, so I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Stadium, even though I raged quit earlier because of CPU cheese.
Yes, CPU cheese is the worst kind of cheese, followed by
Exactly,
Swiss.
exactly. Like I just don't understand how the Pokemon that I brought over from the Game Boy game are just getting destroyed by the CPU, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I hate when it's like not balanced properly, so it just doesn't make sense, especially since it's within the same like game universe.
Right, right. So, what have you been up to since the last show?
Well, I think I mentioned this last show, but I have some Enter the Gungeon videos all queued up and ready to go on Saturdays, which may or may not be when this is released. Um, my Left 4 Dead videos are still going strong. Got two more campaigns left to release, so next campaign up is the Passing. And I actually, TV show wise, I recently got into Arrested Development, and I don't know if you've seen that show, but it's a little interesting. But somehow I've already watched 15 episodes, so I guess I like it kind of.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I have not seen it. I don't even know what it's about really.
I'm not gonna like, I don't know. It's basically about a family who's like rich and the father owns a company or something, and then they get in trouble for I don't know what, but like some businessy things. So the dad gets arrested, and the son is trying to keep this like crazy family together. But the reason why I kind of don't know if I like it is like the style is very unique, so it's kind of a hit or miss. I think it's kind of like there's a narrator who's just saying like, "Oh, luckily George Michael realized," and you're like, I mean, it's just not the normal format of a TV show. But
Right, right.
I've watched like
Yeah.
15 episodes, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah, I'm not really watching anything. I'm thinking about starting. I think it's called Mr. Robot or something like that. I don't know if you heard about it.
I don't know if I've heard about that.
It's supposedly this like really good hacker show. Um that's all I really know what it's about. I mean, it's not like reality TV or anything like that, but uh the word on the street is that they brought in like a legit hacker so he can make sure everything is like legit on the show. So
That's kind of
it seems
cool,
pretty
but
interesting.
I'm worried that people will learn how to hack and then
Well,
could you
I
imagine
mean,
though a
if
reality TV show about hackers though?
what
Like,
was that?
could you imagine a reality TV show about hackers? Like, oh, here's my daily life. I sleep in, I wake up, I hack these guys' Facebooks, I sell the information to this company on the black market, and that that would be like kind of a boring, repetitive show, I would imagine. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, most hacking nowadays seems to be through social engineering, so I don't know how much fun that would be to watch.
Yeah, I don't think a show about hacking would do very well, personally. Or
Yeah,
well,
well,
a
uh,
reality show, a reality show.
right, right, right. I mean, this show is pretty did pretty well. It premiered last year, so it's only on its second season coming up soon. So I was hoping to catch up before second season starts, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm not watching anything really. Just wrestling,
Uh,
things like that.
UFC fighting hinted.
Yeah, UFC fighting, I guess. I mean, that's not really like a weekly thing, is it?
I don't know.
Just like a once a month kind of thing.
Probably. I can't imagine they have that many fighters to be fighting weekly.
Right.
at
I
least
know.
for that long.
I
Like,
think there might be a pay per view at like the end of the month or early next month, but I don't know. I
I'm
just
not
know there's
sure.
one. There's gonna be one in like September, which UFC 203. That one I definitely plan on watching because ex wrestler, Walking Dead enthusiast Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, is gonna be debuting, and so he's my boy, kinda. So I'll be watching
That's
that.
that's pretty cool. I did not know that. I was
Yeah.
sad.
So
I only have like two MMA fighters that I liked, and neither of them were fighting. Like I like Forrest Griffin, and he wasn't there. Is that an MMA fighter?
is isn't he retired?
Probably. And then
Pretty
this
sure
other guy
he's
that I don't know
retired.
how to say his last name, but I liked him, and he wasn't there, so I bet he also probably retired. Because I think I liked
Nate
them when I was in
Diaz.
high school, and that was like 5 years ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if people retire after or before 5 years in the UFC community. But
Right.
anyways,
And I mean, we'll be talking about UFC 200 a little bit later.
that
So
we will. That we will.
let's not get too deep into this conversation right now.
About all the retired fighters.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyways, sure. We can go into our topics for this week. We only
Yeah,
have
sure. So
four this week because again,
yeah,
short show, but hopefully they're good ones. I think they're good ones.
I'm pretty decent. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So you want to open up with the first topic?
All right. So the first topic for this week is Pokemon Go. We kind of touched on this a little bit last week, but since I think we recorded the day the game came out, so none of us knew what was going on. Now that a week has gone by, I think it's a good time then to start talking about it.
I would agree. I've definitely played a tiny bit of it, but I understand it more than I did back then.
Yeah, I've definitely been playing for the whole week. I think yesterday and today are the only days I have not fully gone out and wasted my battery playing the game.
It's not wasted. It's an investment, Francisco. Come on.
All right, I guess wasting is not the correct term then,
You know how many people
but
you just offended? Like three. You offended
I
three
mean,
Pokemon masters. It's not cool,
well,
man.
what I'm trying to say is I did not dedicate a certain amount of time today to becoming the very best, like no one ever was.
Yeah. To catch them's your real test, and you failed. So, anyways, the other days you passed though. So congratulations.
Yeah. So I've been going on like hour and a half, 2 hour walks every day. Just catching the Pokemans, exploring the town. I visited the town cemetery for the first time like 2 days ago, which was an experience. I've never been to a cemetery in general, so that
Wow.
was kind of interesting.
I don't know how you've gone this long without going to a cemetery, but I think that's kind of cool that it got you to go out and explore your town in a semi-safe sounding area. It sounds like. Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was told by certain people that I can get in trouble for going into a cemetery, but I don't think that's the case when like the gates are open. Like sure I can understand when they close down or whatever, but everything was open when I got there.
yeah, I
So
mean, definitely if you go after hours, that's questionable, but I mean, I feel like you could get in trouble for playing Pokemon Go on the cemetery grounds because I've heard that like people go to not super cool places to be playing Pokemon Go and playing it there and then getting in trouble, like the Holocaust Museum or like Pearl Harbor. I don't know what kind of museum they have, but some museum in Pearl Harbor, and people are like playing Pokemon Go and like high fiving each other, and they
sure.
got in trouble and they made specific rules like don't play Pokemon Go here. Um,
Yeah, the weirdest thing though is in my town, like I kind of live in a suburban area, so there's not a lot of activity, but the cemetery is probably where I get the most Pokemon stops like jumbled up in a single place. So if I went there on a day with like 100% battery and just spent like the whole 2 hours using up my battery playing Pokemon Go, I can get like a ton of Pokeballs just by looping around the cemetery. So that's like my go-to place if I run out of Pokeballs now. Is just make a quick trip to the cemetery, and I'll be good to go for like a week.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't had to restock on Pokeballs yet because I used my girlfriend's phone and she has it all the time. So I just wasted like 3 of her Pokeballs trying to catch one Pokemon, and then that's not my problem because I caught it eventually, and she has to get more Pokeballs. So that's that's my I don't know. I don't have to deal with that, luckily. But there's a creek near my house that I could walk around and go to probably about I think 4-ish Pokestops there, but it's like a mile and a half loop, and I'm not about to do that. So I get my car.
Yeah, I have a park that's like super close nearby to where I live. It's like maybe not even 5 minutes driving, and it only has like maybe four, 3 Pokestops. One I can't even go to because I lose signal. So and those other 3 Pokestops are like super separated from each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how separated they are at that creek because I didn't look like super close, but yeah, I think it depends on like the area. I bet if you went downtown, there's Pokestops all over the place.
Yeah, I went to downtown San Francisco around where the Giant Stadium is at, and it's like Pokestops everywhere there. It's I in one like 20-minute drive to downtown San Francisco, I got maybe like 99 Pokeballs. So that was pretty cool.
That sounds like a lot of Pokeballs.
It lasted me maybe a couple days, like 2 or 3 days, I want to say.
Are you able to catch Pokemon consistently with only one Pokeball?
See, that's the thing is, um, which I want to get to a little bit more into detail in a second when we start talking about overall impressions. But the short answer is no. I am not able to consistently capture a Pokemon with one Pokeball.
Me neither. I don't. I think I caught. I've only caught 2 Pokemon in my whole Pokemon Go career, but the first one took 3 and the second one took 1. So I think I've done it one time.
Yeah. So I mean, like I was saying, I want to get your thoughts, your like overall impressions. I know you said you haven't played it too much, but still, you must have like some first impressions or something.
Yeah, from a first impressions point of view, I thought that the games, to me, again, since I've only played literally probably 10 minutes, I didn't really feel like it was explained very well. And maybe there's a tutorial in the beginning during like your setup that you went through that I missed out on, but I kind of was confused because I saw all these Pokemon and it was like it had the footprints and I was like, what does this mean? And it didn't really say anything, and like I clicked on a Pokestop so I figured out like how to use it, but I feel like there should have just been like a little question mark that would just be like, "Oh, here's how you play the game." Um, but I mean, the gameplay overall, like catching the Pokemon stuff, it's very simple, which is okay. But I kind of wish it was like the Safari Zone, where you can bait them. If you don't want them, you throw a rock at them, because you only have so many Pokeballs. So, if you have to walk to get more, maybe there's a way to shoot them off. I don't know. I didn't look that in depth to it, but
Yeah.
to me, I kind of felt like not that it was lacking, but like they're using the Pokemon name to like sell an app that is all right, but maybe it's not the most amazing thing. And personally, I can see myself getting hooked on it only because I'm super obsessed with collecting things and like getting like massive amounts of things and being able to show off that like Steam cards. I have way too many Steam trading cards. So like I can see myself getting into it, but it doesn't mean that the app is like super fun. I wish there's some kind of like other mini game you could be playing.
Yeah, definitely. No. Yeah, you're definitely right on that tutorial thing. But I mean, I've been like I said, I've been playing like all week, pretty much every day, like 2 hours, 2 hours every day, which adds up. Getting a lot of exercise, which is always great. But
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you with the beginning of the game. Um, as far as I can tell, the only tutorial type thing there is in game is like a little question mark on the corner of the overworld, where it's like a they call it a tip section, and it doesn't really tell you that many things. It just says this is a Pokestop. When you get to one, you just spin the thing, and this is a gym. You do so and so at a gym, and that's basically like all they tell you in the little tip section. Which I definitely had some issues starting out, but since I browse the internet way too much, I was able to figure things out from people that were in the beta for the game that was a couple months ago. So luckily
Yeah,
they haven't changed too many things from the beta. So people were giving tips like as soon as the game came out, which was very helpful since there really is no tutorial in the game. But
right. And I feel like
yeah, I
it's
definitely
really important to have a tutorial or something like that to get people hooked. If you don't know how to play the game, then you just don't play it. And I feel like the only reason people stuck around long enough to figure it out themselves is because it literally is Pokemon.
right, yeah. If you, I think I definitely feel very strongly that if you took away Pokemon, you just like stripped it of everything that was Pokemon related, this game would not be able to stand on its own 2 feet. But
I yeah, I agree with that.
simply for the fact that it has the Pokemon franchise tied to it, I think that's the only reason why people put up with all the problems and stuff.
Yeah, I was
Which
about to say that is like if this was unnamed monster game Go and you walked around and you caught monsters, like it's still a cool concept or whatever and it would remind people of Pokemon, but like all the server crashes, no one would put up with that. You
right,
know, no one would put up with that in an app that wasn't tied closely to a big name like video game
yeah,
that people find, interesting.
yeah, definitely. I mean, overall, I'm hooked on it. The servers and stuff have definitely been getting better. I don't since Saturday or Sunday, I have not had any like server issues other than like um the game freezing or things like that. But I think once they iron out the bugs and all that, it should be a fantastic game, especially for those of us that need an excuse to go out and exercise.
Yeah, and that's one thing I could definitely say is beneficial is like the exercise aspect of it. I do think it actually is helping people get out and even like be social if they meet at a Pokestop and stuff because it's very easy to tell when someone's playing and when someone's not, you know.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's a pretty cool aspect of it as well as like I said the exercise thing. I know a lot of people who have been saying they've been getting a lot of exercise because they're trying to find these Pokemon and because it doesn't say, "Oh, it's like 10 feet that way," you kind of have to like walk in a semi decent sized circle in order to find the exact location of the Pokemon. So I think, I mean, it's good. And it also kind of gives you, because it doesn't tell you which direction it is, it does give you the feel of like the old Pokemon games where you kind of just walk through the grass aimlessly until you happen to be next to a Pokemon. So I think that's kind of
right.
a cool thing they tied in.
Right. Yeah. And to go back to your point of Safari Zone stuff, there later on in the game you do get fruit that you can give to Pokemon. Makes supposedly it makes it easier to catch. Um
Yeah, I saw that. I actually did watch one Pokemon Go YouTube video, and I'm kind of complaining because now half of my recommended videos are Pokemon Go because I watched literally one video.
yeah, so surprisingly Pokemon Go videos are super entertaining. Like I don't know what it is. I just enjoy watching people walking around and playing the game.
I wasn't even watching them walk around and play the game. It was literally like a tutorial video because I was like, okay, like really, how do you play this game? And like it
Right.
was literally just tutorial, and then now all of a sudden, like half my recommendations are Pokemon Go. So now on YouTube, the top things that I see are Pokemon Go, how to catch bass, and CS:GO. So that's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, unfortunately according to people on the online forums, they're saying that the fruit makes the pokeball randomly curve sometimes, so when you're like trying to throw it straight, it will just like curve off to the side like for no apparent reason once you use the fruit. So I've completely stopped using the fruit altogether
I'm assuming
just
that's a
because I
bug,
have
right?
yeah I definitely experienced that before. I wasn't sure why it was super weird. Like, oh, I would do the motion to throw it straight,
Hmm.
but the ball would curve like all the way off screen,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's like I don't have that many Pokestops in my area, and I'm already losing balls this way. Like it's not even worth it. So once people
Right.
were saying that they were noticing it was tied to the fruit, that I just completely stopped using the fruit.
Right. Because I mean, what's the point of making it easier to catch Pokemon if it curves your Pokeballs off the screen?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
rather just take your chances with it going straight into a smaller circle than going off to the right in a impossible to hit circle now.
Yeah, I mean, there's people are finding like ways to make catching easier. Like I know there's a way to immediately throw a Pokeball as soon as you encounter a Pokemon.
I didn't know that. But again, I
Yeah,
played for a total of 5-10 minutes, so I,
yeah, and if you're hearing the train, my bad.
it's
There's a train passing by right now.
I mean it's okay. Um, you hear it like 2 times. It's not that bad. But yeah, I was like, how do you get experience for your Pokemon? Because I didn't realize that you had to catch the same Pokemon to level them up. So I was like
Oh yeah,
running all over my house, like maybe it's counting footsteps. So, and yeah, no, that didn't work. So that was a fun little 5 minutes of like sprinting across my house. It,
yeah. That mechanic is like a double-edged sword. I like it, but at the same time, I don't like it because if you find like that rare Pokemon that pops up like once a week, then you'll never get like candies to evolve it or like level it up or things like that.
can you buy the
So
candies?
no, you cannot buy the candies,
Wow.
which I feel is a good thing because if you could buy the candies, people could just spend like $10 and get like OP Pokemon at level 2 or something
Right.
like
And
that.
I feel like that's a stupid oversight on Pokemon Go's like developer side though. Think about how much money they can make. You know people are going to get super into this. They could have made a lot of money. Like
Yeah, but
I'm glad for the parents of small children who are playing this so that they don't steal their credit cards and then buy a bunch of stuff. But I'm just saying that was a missed opportunity right there.
it definitely. But I mean, like I said, I'm in an area where I don't have that many Pokestops, and I've seen people online with like level or CP 2000 Pokemon or something like that, and I'm barely about to reach like 900. On the highest Pokemon level I have is like 800 something. So and
Wow.
I'm already level 14.
I don't know if any of those things are good because again, I haven't played that long, but it sounds very impressive.
I mean, when you compare my stats to like people online, I don't feel like it's that impressive, but um I've definitely seen people in my area with like Pokemon with combat power of 1500 things like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Just
kind of crazy.
yeah, I'm going to have to put in some more walking hours. My brother just let me borrow his portable charger, so that's definitely like maybe another 2 hours I'm going to be adding into my walks.
Yeah, I have a big external battery too. It's too bad my phone's not good enough to actually have Pokemon Go on it. Someday I'll get a phone that's modern enough. Guys, I have an
Someday.
iPhone 4. An iPhone 4 though. So, I'm a little behind the curve. I can't do anything. Everything is horrible. The end. Upgrade your
I just
iPhones, boys and girls.
I just upgraded just in time. I think in December was when I did my upgrade to iPhone 6. So
Yeah.
I was also on iPhone 4.
Yeah, I could have upgraded and I still can upgrade, but I just haven't because my phone works, but at like the bare minimum acceptable quality. Like it literally takes me 20 minutes to open up the Facebook Messenger app. 20 minutes, sorry,
Oh
20 seconds. So I sit there and like my phone goes to sleep before the app opens. Like it's bad.
yeah,
It's really bad.
I don't even deal with the Facebook official apps.
I don't use the actual Facebook app because my phone also only has 8 gigabytes of memory.
Right.
But like the messenger I think is a pretty standard one, and every time someone sends me a Facebook message and I have to do it on mobile, I'm like, man, I wish they would just text me because it takes like ages for that to open up because my phone sucks.
Yeah, I just use Safari. It's plain. I get access to my timeline and I can use the messages. So
That's true.
I don't need to download like multiple apps just to use the feature. So I absolutely hate Facebook for doing that.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point about like why don't you just use Safari? Because I always run out of space, and now it's getting me thinking. And now I'm mad at you because I didn't want to think about that. I just took it for granted that I would only have Messenger.
Yeah, if you go to like your bookmarks,
Uh huh.
your like bookmarks tab on Safari, you can add like pages to your home screen, which will give you like a little
Oh,
icon
I
on
think
your
I
home
knew
screen.
that. I think I knew that. Yeah.
So that's just what I did for Facebook. So whenever I just tap it, it opens up Safari, but it takes me directly to facebook.com.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of convenient.
Yeah, so that's just what I do. Saves me some memory from having to download. I heard the Facebook app is huge now.
I
So,
again, I don't have Facebook, so I don't know about that, but I don't know. I just use the
all
chat.
right. All right. All right. Well, it seems like we went from Pokemon Go to Facebook app. So,
That's our second topic. Just kidding.
I think we should close this Pokemon Go business and just move on to Nintendo re-releasing their first NES console, Nintendo Entertainment System console.
Yeah.
So
Go
this was
ahead.
just announced yesterday from the day of this recording. I don't know if you
I
heard of it.
I definitely saw it on the news actually, and they just mentioned it briefly, so I didn't get all of the details. But it comes preloaded with what 30 games?
Yeah,
Yeah, and it has some decent titles like Zelda, right? Is something they mentioned.
yeah, Zelda. I think Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, like
Um, yeah, is like pretty much the greatest hits of the console.
yeah, and like I think that's cool. I think it'll be really appreciated by you know the people who had it when they were younger. I personally didn't have
Yeah,
one, but I definitely see how it would have a market, and I like how it appeals to the younger generations because the parents will buy it for the kids because it's something from their childhood and the legacy will go on. So,
yeah, definitely. I didn't have one either growing up. I started off with the Super Nintendo. I did pick one up while I was in high school, but I never got like the cables and stuff to connect it to my TV. So I just have the console sitting in one of my drawers
that
and
that's a
with
shame.
a copy of the first Legend of Zelda somewhere.
So does the new console does it take like any kind of cartridge or disc at all, or is it literally only what's preloaded?
It's literally whatever's preloaded. You can't add any more stuff. You can't do anything. It has a USB port, but that USB port is for the AC adapter or whatever that's going to be included.
Right.
So
That makes
what
sense.
you see is what you get with this new product.
I feel like it's kind of cool. Like people could take it on family vacations and stuff. Um, Especially since it's all included. You don't have to take all these discs. You only need the HDMI cable and the AC adapter. So in reality, the TV wherever you stay should have an HDMI cable. So you really only need
Right.
the power cable. I think that's kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
but will it ruin family vacations? We'll never know.
I feel like $60 might be a little too steep for this thing. Again,
Maybe.
you're getting 30 games, but
Right.
I
That's
don't know.
what I was thinking. I was doing the math and I'm like, $2 a game, that's actually not that bad, but it depends on the quality of the game. Like, if this is one of those games with, like, Space Invaders or Tetris, then maybe it's a ripoff.
Mhm.
But since it's like Zelda and Super Mario Brothers, I feel like
Yeah.
that has enough content that it maybe could be worth the $60.
Yeah, it's definitely on the fence. I need to go over this list again. I just skimmed it real quick yesterday. I saw like Zelda 1 and 2, the Super Mario games, things like that. Um I didn't notice anything pop out that's like if you wanted to buy like the cartridge, it would cost you a pretty penny or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure these are all like common games. Like
Yeah.
I've seen the original Super Mario Brothers at like flea markets everywhere. So that's not that hard to come by.
That's true. And if you're only buying it for like 3 games, then yeah, it probably is a ripoff. But if you're
Yeah,
genuinely interested in most of the games and you think the games will have a decent amount of playtime, I mean, I feel like it could
yeah.
be a cool investment. But I almost am considering picking one up just because like the last Nintendo console I've had was the Wii, and I want to give them not a redemption, but like I never really got hooked on the Wii, and this seems kind of cool. So I'm considering picking one up, especially since it is so portable. You could bring it to like friends' houses, and since it is 2 player, you could like have a tournament or something. I don't know. I just see like opportunities to play it with other people, especially since you can move it around and stuff. It's not like lugging around a 20-pound Xbox.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely consider getting one too. I mean, I got a actual console thing while I was in high school. So, and I never got to play with it, so I'm definitely consider picking this one up.
Yeah, a redemption from your high school failure of not getting cables. That hurt my heart when you said that. Like, you bought a
Yeah.
console and then like you could never even play it because you didn't have the cables.
Well, I didn't buy it. It was donated to me, but
Oh, okay, but still, a wasted
donating
console.
donating is such a weird word to say. It was yeah, but it was given to me by someone that like was just gonna throw it away. I was like, hey, I collect these kind of things. Why
That's
don't you just give it to me?
Yeah, that's like my Xbox 360
And
that I got. Someone was literally
and
gonna throw it into a dumpster and I got it for free.
exactly. I think I have one of the cables. I need to connect it to the TV because I think I can use like the Super Nintendo cables for that.
Uh huh.
But I don't have like the AC adapter or anything like that.
Which is
Which
arguably one of the most important cables.
yes, I can probably pick it up on Amazon for cheap, but like I never got around to doing it.
Yeah, and now it's just so outdated and stuff. You probably would have a hard time finding games that worked in.
And yeah, and now that this thing's coming out, I mean, why should I even bother?
Well, I mean, if the cable's like $2, it might still be worth it just to say you have one.
Just to say that I have one, but I'll probably be eventually end up spending $60 for the games
That's true.
for all
Touche.
the games that I buy.
Definitely have a point there. So you're right. We should just move
and
on to the new.
I don't have a controller either, so there's that issue too.
Yeah, that's not an optimal situation. Never mind. Get get rid of all hope of that one. Just get the new one.
Right. Get the new one.
Is it gonna have better graphics though, or is it gonna be like retro graphics?
Um, I actually was reading like a Q&A yesterday, and well, the graphics themselves are obviously gonna be like retro, but
Okay.
they're using HDMI, which I don't know how good this is gonna look on HDMI TVs. I
Yeah.
was I was reading, like I said, I was reading like a Q&A, and they asked Nintendo if they were gonna emulate like the CRT scans or whatever from the old TVs, and they said they weren't gonna talk about things like that at this time.
That
So
I don't know. That sounds like a little bit overkill though. I agree that
yeah, I
it
mean,
wouldn't look great with an HDMI cable because the resolution is going to be so bad. But
right.
I don't know if they need to emulate like the old TV lines and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely like we'll just have to wait and see what's up with that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so with that being said, I guess we should move on to the next topic.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, so Power Rangers movie. Not too much information has been out on this thing. They're slowly releasing things. They just released like new character posters. I think yesterday or a couple days ago, earlier this week, and they also released like a screenshot from the movie, I guess, earlier this week as well. So I don't know how much into Power Rangers you were, if at all.
Nope, that was your thing.
That was just my thing. All right. Well, I mean, you must have seen the originals though, right?
I mean, I briefly recall seeing the originals, but like it wasn't really my show. And I don't know what show I watched instead, but Power Rangers was not the show that I watched.
You watched Xena, Warrior Princess.
No, I didn't watch that either. I watched a little bit of Thundercats.
Okay.
Um,
Thundercats.
but yeah, Power Rangers not my thing.
All right. Well, I mean, there's not too many details on this thing. Like I said, just the character posters. That's basically it, and they just announced like what the characters look like and stuff. So, honestly, I'm kind of sketchy about this movie. They are saying, or at least Brian, this is his name, Brian Cranston, I believe, Breaking Bad dude. He's
Uh,
gonna be in it, and
which
he's
Breaking Bad dude?
the Walter White.
Walter White. Oh my god, I would
He's
love to
gonna
see
be in
that.
it.
I
He's playing the mentor guy. So
I could see it.
which which in the original show was the floating head. I don't know if you remember the floating head guy,
Mm, maybe I don't know.
Zordon.
No, I don't
Oh
think
well, he's gonna be playing the floating head guy from the original show, and I don't think they've confirmed whether it's gonna be a floating head or if he's gonna be full human body in this movie. But he's gonna be in it, and he has said that this movie is like similar in tone as the Dark Knight Batman movie, which I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
Yeah, I feel like it's not good to compare yourself to something that was really successful. Because if you're
Yeah,
like,
and
I don't want to say I'm as fast as Usain Bolt, but I'm like almost there. Like that set your standards pretty high, you know. So
right.
I don't know.
And on top of that, Batman is like already a dark character, and Power Rangers is pretty lighthearted. Like it's a Batman is also like a kid's comic book. If kids, young adults, young teens, things like that. So I guess you can kind of get away with Batman being a little bit more dark and gritty. But Power Rangers was like, kids. Like I was in preschool when I first watched Power Rangers.
Right, that's what I
So
was thinking. Is
so
like,
I don't know. I don't know if like Dark Knight tone is the way they should go.
I mean, unless they were trying to market to an older audience, that is. So it,
Probably since they're taking like the characters from the original TV show and just basically rebooting it into, I guess, a dark and gritty movie now.
yeah,
Is
that'll
what
be
they're trying to do.
interesting. Cause like from what I remember seeing, Power Rangers, Power, oh my god, I can't talk. Power Rangers. Like I've seen it when I was a little older too, and I was like, wow, this is like really childish. So for
Yeah,
me, I can't even imagine a world where Power Rangers like show even like blood, you know, let
yeah,
alone like some kind of storyline ulterior motive that's dark and gritty. That seems kind of weird to me.
yeah. I mean, I love the show. I'm going to a convention next month that's dedicated to Power Rangers. But like the DVD, they released the show on DVDs like a couple years ago, and sometimes I just can't even get through like a whole season without cringing.
Yeah, I can't say I relate to that, but I do need to comment on the character posters. Like they're pretty cool and stuff, and the cast looks good. Not that I've seen them act at all, but the Black Ranger Zack looks like Nigahiga. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, did they cast Nigahiga for this? It's I don't
that
know. I thought it was pretty
that
funny.
would, that would be funny.
I don't know. We'll put the
Yeah,
links below, but
yeah, like always, links will be below in the description. That's funny that you think he looks like Nika Higa. I
from
haven't seen Nika Higa in like forever.
I mean, I haven't either, which is probably why I tied the connection. But in reality, like I looked and at like literally split second, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Nigahiga." That'd be funny. It'd be
Yeah,
like
I mean,
a spoof.
so how do you feel about like reboots in general?
Oh man.
Reboots, remakes. Like I know the Ghostbusters just came out recently. The reboot with the all female
Right.
cast.
I feel like reboots are kind of a hit or miss. It to me it brings us back to our last podcast where we were kind of talking about replacing Tony Stark, where it's like
Right.
everyone thinks of Ghostbusters as a certain way, and when you do a reboot, it's like it's a risk because everyone has these fond memories of this movie, or maybe they have like these horrible memories of the movie, but redoing it, you're obviously breaking what they expect. Something's not going to be right, and it's going to either piss some people off or make some people really happy. So, I guess with that being said, I don't have a strong opinion on it, except for the fact that I just feel like it's a big risk. Um, but especially for the case of the Power Rangers movie or Ghostbusters, since I never really watched Ghostbusters, to me, I don't really care about the stuff, but I could easily see how people could get upset if the movie doesn't turn out the way they think it should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going into this Power Rangers movie with not with like zero expectations. I think that's the best way to go into these things. I went to X-Men, I went to Deadpool with zero expectations, and I came out pretty impressed with like both movies. But I'm doing the same with this one. Like I said, I don't think the dark and gritty is the way to go, but people are always asking for dark and gritty everything, so you know,
Yeah,
companies are gonna oblige and go that way. But
it's the
yeah,
news. It's all the
yeah,
news fault.
I definitely feel reboots are hit or miss. Definitely, they're hit or miss. It just has to be done right, and hopefully, this Power Rangers movie is done right.
I agree. I was actually just thinking because I was like, what reboots did I think of that were like really horrible? Because obviously, like even though it's not a reboot, but like the Harry Potter movies, seeing a character that was a little different than what you imagined is kind of
Yeah,
upsetting. But the one that really pissed me off was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I loved that show so much, and Korra for me was pretty disappointing, and the like live action movie was the worst. Like I don't know
right.
if you got into that, but I was like really mad about that. So again, it's a risk. Definitely a
Yeah,
risk.
it definitely is. Like I heard Ocean's 11 is a remake slash reboot of something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I saw Ocean's 11 I think last year for the first time, and I thought that was a great movie. So again, I can't really compare it because I didn't know it was a reboot or remake or whatever. But generally speaking, people liked Ocean's 11, so things can be done right.
They can be. Yeah, and especially since you can take advantage of like modern technologies. Like if you took a really old movie like Ghostbusters that I'm sure they tried to do some kind of special effects with, I'm sure this new movie, their special effects will be like, a lot better and people will appreciate that. But making a change to an all-female cast, not that that's a bad thing, obviously, but it's something that is a little bit more risky. Like I bet if they kept the cast vaguely similar, the people that they casted were like they looked alike, maybe they didn't have to be the same person and they just put in like new effects, people would like that, or would be more likely to like that than if they just changed the cast to be radically
Hmm.
different.
I think in the case of Ghostbusters, I think people would have been more okay with it if it was a continuation of the original movies. You know,
Yeah.
I since it's a reboot, it's like they're trying to erase like the previous movies, like they never happened. So
Yeah.
I think depending how this Power Ranger movie turns out, that's probably gonna be the way I feel. If it's bad, I'm gonna be like, maybe they should have just made it in the same universe as like the TV shows or something, or like an alternate timeline or something like that.
Yeah. Because I think that's really your safest bet is to be like, it's in the same universe, but it's different, so that they have nothing to compare to. It's really when people have a certain impression of how it's supposed to be that people will get
Right,
upset.
right. Yeah, and I personally I always like when things tie in back to like the previous shows or previous movies or previous whatever. So that would have been pretty cool. At least for me, it would be.
Yeah, no, I agree. If they had done that with Avatar: The Last Airbender, put a little bit more at the end, I would have been okay with that. But because they tried to cover so much content in like a couple hours, it's just
Yeah.
very disappointing. And like it would be a shame if Power Rangers was the same way because I remember how that felt and it was really crappy.
Right. Right. And like, I mean, Star Wars is doing it right. They're just continuing whatever George Lucas started. So
Yeah, exactly. They totally are doing it right, and people were happy about it, even though they made it more family friendly than the previous ones were, which it kind of sounds like the opposite of Power Rangers, but
Yeah,
People were like, I kind of felt like it was a little kiddish, but we forgive you,
yeah,
and it wasn't because they were trying to remake,
yeah,
a well-known classic. They're just
yeah. They're telling a new story in the same universe, so people don't have anything to compare to, which is like
exactly
the best thing they can do.
right.
But
Alrighty.
and yeah, so Power Rangers coming out next year. We'll see. Well, if we're still doing the show, we'll do a review on it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it then.
All right, so UFC 200.
Yep,
I don't know if we have sports listeners or anything like that, but UFC 200 happened this past weekend.
that it did. I didn't watch it at the weekend, but I watched it today at work. Score.
Yeah, I watched it live as it aired. It was my first UFC pay per view event, so that was fun.
Yeah, I obviously didn't pay for it. I just watched it online. But it had been a while since I watched some UFC. My name is WC Karate Kid, and some people ask me if I do martial arts. I did do martial arts for like 12 years, so UFC has been kind of a not a big part of my life, but I had been watching it for a while, and I stopped because Netflix became a thing. But watching it today was pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna go back to watching some more UFC.
Yeah, like I said, this was my first event. I'm mainly watched because of Brock Lesnar. You
Right.
guys, I mentioned earlier in the show, I think that I watch wrestling, so he brought me over from the wrestling side to watch UFC.
Yeah. I think he was originally a UFC guy who went to wrestling, who went back to UFC.
No, he
No?
was a wrestling guy because he was a wrestler back in like early 2000s, like 2002. I think he made his WWE debut,
Huh.
and then he wrestled for a couple years, I think, until 2005, 2006. This was like around this time I stopped watching wrestling. Was when he left, and then I heard that he was like trying to do football stuff with the Minnesota Vikings, and then he went to UFC. And I didn't hear about him going to UFC until like towards the end of his career in the UFC.
Ah.
And then all that the disease or whatever happened to him, and he stopped and he came back to WWE in 2011, 2012, something like that. And now he's back with UFC. Well, he's doing both. I guess he's under contract with both WWE and UFC right now.
Wow. That is a extensive history that I did not know about Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he was actually one of my favorite. Like in in wrestling, they call the bad guys heels and the good guys baby faces. He was one of like, even though he was a heel in WWE when I was watching back then, he was still one of like my favorite wrestlers. He was just super entertaining.
Yeah, he's got a face of a not that I'm a wrestler, but now that you've explained the good guys and the bad guys, he definitely looks like a bad guy.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he maybe was a good guy for like a month, and then it turned out like he was just like a double agent working for the bad guys the whole time.
I feel like WWE is like a drama, like like a reality TV show, except for staged and
It
wrestling.
it definitely is like it's like a one of my I guess I he's more like an acquaintance, but I met him through like college. He works for the wrestling games now. He got into it because of like his internship and stuff with them. He got into wrestling and he described it as like a soap opera,
I
which
I could see
is
it.
totally true. It's
Yeah.
definitely like a soap opera kind of Broadway musical
Well, when you just said
for
that thing about
for
like
dudes.
the double agent thing, I was like, that's super dramatic and so unnecessary. But that's cool. Anyways, should we talk about some of the UFC stuff, or are we just gonna talk about wrestling now?
No, we can talk about UFC. Let's run down the I guess the card. I don't even remember what matches happened.
All right, I don't either, but there was a couple of things that were pretty hilarious that I noticed while watching it. The first one was one of the fighters came out to this one song. Do you remember what the song's called that I sent you earlier?
Uh, I remember it was by Credence Clearwater or something like that.
Yeah, well, one of the fighters came out to this really like softcore oldies song, and I thought that was really funny because usually they go the metal route or something like energetic and like angry, but his was all like I don't know, definitely the opposite of what I was expecting when a fighter's walking out.
Would you say that was the highlight of the show for you?
No, the highlight of the show for me was when Brock Lesnar was fighting and his opponent was grabbing onto the cage and the ref slapped his hand away. That was so funny. Like I almost laughed out loud when that happened. um,
Yeah, like I said, this is my first event, so I did not know grabbing the cage was like illegal. So that was definitely like I was like, is this fight turning into like a 2-on-1 or something?
yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't realize either, but the commentators did mention it later. That he had grabbed the cage like 2 times during that match.
Yeah,
But I didn't think that the ref was gonna like just slap his hand though. You would think that he'd get some kind of warning like, "Hey, let go of the cage, let go of the cage," and
yeah,
then move his hand or something. But instead, he didn't even say anything. He just like slapped his hand away. I thought that was
yeah.
I don't know. It was entertaining.
When because I browse Reddit a lot, and so whenever I come up with like a new interest, like I go for looking for the specific threads on the stuff. I went to the specific thread for like UFC 200, and they were talking about how the grabbing the cage was illegal and all that, and it definitely makes sense because if he wasn't grab he since he grabbed the cage, he like stopped Brock Lesnar from doing a takedown,
Right.
a potential takedown, which could have if he was successful with the takedown, it might have led to him winning the match, things like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
definitely, it all like makes sense once I had someone that knew what they were talking about explain it to me.
Right. Especially for someone like Brock Lesnar who depends so heavily on his ground game. Like I don't know. I could see how holding onto the cage could help you stand up if someone was like, trying to tire you out by, clinching you in a way that would be tiring. But the actual staying up from a takedown, yeah, that's definitely like that's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, Brock Lesnar. For me, when I saw him, I was just like, damn. I don't, I don't know what else to say. He was like in really good shape. I kind of knew he was gonna win. Like just looking at him, I was like, yeah, he looks like he's gonna beat the crap out of someone right now. And then I saw the other guy, and he also looked big, but he didn't look like Brock Lesnar. Uh, you know, and then after that first round, it for me it was pretty clear. Like, all right, he's gonna dominate this. So I'm surprised he didn't get him on like a TKO or something though.
yeah. Um, Mark Hunt took, which was Brock Lesnar's opponent. He
Right,
took some pretty stiff shots to like the head when I think the third round Brock Lesnar was just
right.
like laying it in him, and I was surprised he like did not. I too was surprised that Brock Lesnar did not win by like a knockout because Mark Hunt was taking some pretty good shots to the head. I don't know,
Yeah, I mean,
that 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 dude is pretty tough.
I don't think that it had to be a knockout, but I feel like he probably deserved a TKO though because the like Hunt was on the ground, like I think he was on his stomach, and Brock Lesnar was like on his back, like just pounding the crap out of his head, and
Yeah,
he was kind of blocking, but in like the most basic sense that I'm like, oh, please don't hit me anymore, like
yeah,
not like a oh I'm doing a strategic thing so I can grab your hand and then maneuver. Like it's to me it seemed pretty clear that he was done. But if the ref had called it and it was too soon, people would have been outraged. So I
yeah,
get why the ref wouldn't call it.
yeah.
Um,
From what I understand, the ref usually like calls it when once the person taking the shots like stops blocking. That's from what I guess the ref can call it whenever he wants, right?
right. And I mean, yeah, I think that that is true because what the commentator was saying was like once he stops intelligently like blocking, but it didn't really look that intelligent. It was like, "Ow, I'm being hit on the right side. Let me just put my hand here." Like it
Right.
didn't look like he was doing anything like I don't know. It seemed like he was pretty out of it to me. Like I would have called TKO if I was a ref, but that's just me, and I'm not a ref. So
Right. So overall, what you think about the event?
I think it was a good event. I listened to half of it. I watched half of it. A lot of talking. Would have liked more fighting. I get that there's analysis and stuff, but like I was saying to you earlier, I wish they had annotations like on YouTube. All right, let's skip to the fight now. um,
Right.
but besides that, I mean, it was cool hearing about the fighters' backgrounds, and especially Brock Lesnar. Like I didn't know that he had quit because he got sick,
Yeah.
and stuff. So it was interesting hearing that background, and the fights were interesting as always. So you know, it was a good event. What did you think?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. It was being my first event. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more blood and guts, but I understand that that's not something you're gonna get every time.
Yeah, not enough elbows to get blood and guts, but there was definitely a little bit of blood in one of the matches. I don't remember who it was. One
Yeah,
guy's face was pretty messed up though.
I definitely would have liked it if it was a bit more brutal. But overall, I thought it was pretty entertaining. I was definitely entertained.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next couple UFC events. Like I said, 203 when CM Punk makes his debut. Um, I kind of started following with the first like Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz fight, like a couple months ago, whenever that was.
Uh huh.
So I'll definitely be watching their rematch, which I think will be next month or something.
Yeah.
Uh, overall, if I was to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 or like a 8.
Yeah. I'm probably seven, 7.5.
Yeah, the only match I was probably really disappointed with was the last one, which was the women's bantamweight fight. I think it was the for the
Oh,
title.
I guess I didn't watch that. I guess I thought Brock Lesnar was the end and then stopped watching. Oops.
No, yeah, there was one more. It was it ended. I think it was a first round TKO where like
Damn.
the challenger won, and the champion just like she did not look like she wanted to fight. She did not look ready at all, and she just I think they said that she got like a broken nose or something from the fight, which was pretty
Well,
brutal.
okay, yeah, but a broken nose has to be standard when you're fighting. You have to know that that's a risk. They're like punching you in the
Right.
face. What did you expect? You know, like,
Yeah,
but
I think
I don't know.
I just felt disappointed with that match because the champion didn't put up a fight really.
Right, and the
It's
funny
just
thing is that I think if she came out fighting, she probably wouldn't have broken her nose.
yeah,
You
so
know, if she wanted to fight, she probably could have put that girl on her butt and called it a day, but instead she just probably let her wreck her. Again, I didn't watch the fight, but all I know
yeah.
is the best defense is a good offense, so.
Yeah, I think if I was to give the worst fight of the card, it would probably be that one. 'Cause just
Well,
she didn't put up a fight at all, and it ended like before the first round
yeah.
even ended. I think
Well, then
it was
I'm.
either the first or second round it ended, but it was probably the shortest match of the night.
Yeah, there were some pretty short ones that ended in first round, right? Like the first two ended in first round, I thought.
Maybe I think yeah, probably. I don't remember too well because
Yeah,
I was like I said, I was watching mainly because of Brock Lesnar, so that was the match I was like waiting for all night.
right. I don't know. Well, if the female fight was your least favorite, I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, it was definitely my least favorite.
I didn't
Yeah,
have any that I could say, oh, that one was bad. So I'm gonna stay out of this one.
right, right. Like I said, overall it was a decent show, pretty good show for my first event.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a good like the commentators were saying, it's a very loaded card. So I think that was a good one for you to watch if you had
Yeah,
followed any of those fighters at all.
what was that?
If you had followed any of those fighters previously, like it would have been a good
The only fighter, like I said, that I
yeah, Brock
closely
Lesnar.
kind of follow was Brock Lesnar, but that's because he comes from WWE, so
Yeah.
yeah. But I guess with that, we're gonna close the show out. That was our last topic for for the episode.
That it was, and we made it to an hour, even though we only had 4 topics. Good for us. Pat
Yeah,
on the back.
pat on the back. But anyways, guys, that's it for us. We like to thank you guys for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, again, links will be in the description for everything we talked about, except probably UFC. We'll probably link like the results or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can find the matches on YouTube somewhere. I don't really want to link to like illegal websites or something like that.
Yeah,
But
you don't have to link it. Literally just type in watch UFC 200 online free and you'll find it yourself. But yeah, we won't link it though.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more. You can find me at youtube.com/user/SynysterKobra, Twitter SynysterKobra, Facebook SynysterKobra, all that good stuff.
Yeah, those are also on the screen. I'm not gonna say mine because they're on the screen. You can read. I believe in you guys.
Yeah, but what if they're like listening? They're
Um,
just like they have a different tab open or something.
well, if they think it's interesting enough, then they'll come back and they'll look at it. All right, fine. It's
All right.
WC_Karate Kid for Twitter and for Twitch, and then WC Karate Kid without an underscore because YouTube doesn't allow that for YouTube. So pretty.
And if you don't want to type that out, the links will be in the description.
Yes, always in the description. Anyways,
All right, guys. Until next week, we are signing out.
peace.